the most basic, simple, and most foundational tip to help you be productive is to get organized. Especially as you scale, get organized. The worst thing to wake up to as an entrepreneur is an endless to-do list. How many of y'all, go ahead and just like and subscribe if this is you, how many of y'all feel like you have an endless to-do list? I'm sure you're watching this video because of that, because you want to hear these productivity hacks, tricks, and tips. It's a tongue twister. But I have felt that way. And I've also never been someone who has like this 2-hour morning routine and is like in this zone of like, okay, yes, now let's go do it, right? If that's you, amazing, but that's not what this video is going to tell you to do. I have also been the person that works 24/7, gets up, goes straight to the computer all the way to bed as an entrepreneur because I had the endless to-do list. So in this video, I want to break down really, after years now of being an entrepreneur and a lot of trial and error, what are the things that really help you become productive in your business? Because being busy, doing all of the things, that's not productive. And nowadays, I have shifted from that to my clients asking me, how do you get so much done? How do you do so many things? And while you definitely can't compare day one to running, a near 7-figure business with a team, because there is such thing as like, hey, I'm able to do all of these different things because I have a team. My individual to-do list and day-to-day schedule is so much more productive because of these things. If you're new to this channel, hello. My name is Amanda Kolbye and I'm a business coach for service-based entrepreneurs. And I talk about all different things from entrepreneurship, marketing, sales, NLP, and the digital nomad lifestyle as I do travel around the world. So I would love it if you would hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to get a lot more amazing content to help you be able to grow your business. And with that, let's dive in. Okay, so the first tip to being productive is to schedule everything. And I really mean this in that don't be afraid of structure. Don't be afraid of creating a schedule because again, you always have the power of choice to change it. But if you don't have the structure, you're always going to stay scattered. So one thing is you can watch this video here, which talks all about exactly how I schedule my week and my month. And it even shares my screen, dives into so much. But the two main tools that I use to keep a schedule for myself is ClickUp, which is where my team and I have all of our projects and tasks lists. So I always have that pulled up. And then I use my Google Calendar only for my calls, which again, you can watch this video here where I explain all of that in more detail. But there's actually a third piece of the puzzle that I have more recently found in my business that is like the magic trio on top of these two tools to actually help me stay so much more productive. And that is a good old notebook. A very small, plain, simple notebook of which I do one thing and one thing only in, and that is, let me show you an example. I write an hourly schedule for myself. It is the most simple thing to do, and in conjunction with my other things, it is the thing that has helped me overcome what I refer to as the superwoman effect. We've all been there, and so now let's make this a term, but the superwoman effect, or Superman, if you're a man, superwoman effect is when you think that you can get 24 million things done in a day, and you literally set yourself up for failure every single day. So the way that we overcome the superwoman effect is you've got ClickUp, you've got all your amazing tasks scheduled from all these different projects in there, and you're feeling good, and it's color-coded, but if you're working off an endless to-do list, you are setting yourself up for failure because you don't know how long all these tasks are going to do. You're not planning in lunch and working out and all the other things that happen throughout your day. So I recommend whatever time it is you're waking up, start scheduling this in by the times. And if you're not sure how long things take you, I definitely recommend doing a time audit. So that leads me to tip number 2, which is overestimate how long things are going to take you. So even if you time track, certain things are going to pop up here and there that take our attention, or something just takes a little bit longer than we thought it was going to take. So if you are scheduling things like to the minute of like at the 55, I'm going to do this, right? And you leave no like segue or in between time, that's also going to set you up for failure. And so I think a lot of times we forget all of the little things, and then we're like, okay, great, I have 2 hours to do these 3 things and then I'll be done for the day, but we forget all the little things like maybe I got to check my DMs and maybe I've got to check in with my team and, it ends up taking me 15 minutes to go through my email. And so this is really where time tracking will highlight a lot of these things for you so you don't miss the little things, but then we also still want to overestimate how long things are going to take. And then if you're great and you're like, hey, I actually got everything done on time or early, great, then you can take the day off, or I guess you can go to your next to-do list, right? Now, the third tip for you is to have things on repeat. Clothes, meals, habits, locations, whatever it is, have things on repeat. So this might look like going to the same cafe every day, trying to wake up at the same time, eating the same types of meals, or even just like pre-planning your meals so that, again, it's like habitual. The reason this is really helpful is because it takes less brain power. There's so much brain power and time, therefore, being sucked up out of your day of you just making decisions, of you contemplating, okay, should I go here? How long is it going to take me to drive to that cafe? Like whatever that might be. So do some pre-planning or create some routine and habits. Now, for everyone internally screaming, no, I need spice and variety in my life, you're literally talking to someone that travels around the world and moves every 2 to 3 months. So I get you, but you still need to create, even if it's just on a weekly basis, create some sort of habitual things or routine within your life, because remember, we always have the power of choice. So we can always choose not to do the structure that we've set up for ourselves, but without the structure, we live in scatteredness and chaos. Tip number 4 is to change your mindset here. And what I mean specifically by this is looking at our identity. So I'm someone who has definitely always loved like color coding and being a pretty organized person. So for me, this was actually part of how I saw myself. I saw myself as organized and on top of things, right? So as part of that identity, I described myself that way. I naturally was like, oh yes, of course, I'm going to organize my Google Drive because that's who I am, right? Whether these are these little subconscious thought patterns in the background or consciously said out loud. If you're not someone though who sees yourself as organized, be careful about the ways that you're describing yourself and talking to yourself. Even if you've previously habitually been someone who is not organized, guess what? You can become someone who is organized, but it's going to start with you saying to yourself, you know what? It's fine. I'm not lazy. I'm not unorganized. I'm going to change that about myself, right? I want to thrive and become someone who is organized. So is this going to be the fix all to make you super productive? No, of course not. But it is something that is really, really helpful. And if this point resonates with you and you want to hear a little bit more kind of about some of the mindset shifts and the habits that really make successful entrepreneurs, check out this video here where I highlight the 12 top habits of successful entrepreneurs. Okay, tip number 5 is stop trying to do it all. Like, get a megaphone. Stop trying to do it all. I also probably should have told this to my past self, but in hindsight is 2020. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Okay, so stop trying to do it all. Now, here is the question. Write it on a sticky note that you need to ask yourself every task you start. Do I actually need to do this? And you can ask it 3 ways. Do I actually need to do this? Do I actually need to do this? And do I actually need to do this, right? So essentially, we just want to ask ourselves, like, are you the only one that can be doing this? Does this task actually need to get done, or can it wait until later? Or honestly, could it be eliminated? The thing about entrepreneurship, especially when you're in like solopreneur mode, is you can't do everything. So it doesn't matter if you want to, but there are only a certain amount of hours in the day, and you're not going to be effective. Even if you can technically check off all these different tasks, they're not going to be up to par. They're not going to be the best that you want to relay to your audience and give to your business. And also, you're going to burn out at a certain point, and I have been there if you try and do it all. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like you're doing everything, this is the first thing to do, is start to figure out what do we not need to be doing, because we can't do it all. And ask yourself, because whenever we're overwhelmed, it's typically because of lack of clarity or lack of priorities right? So what is a priority for you right now? What is a priority to get you closer to your most immediate goal right now? And also, for feeling overwhelmed, what is unclear? What do we need to get clear on? Because when you're crystal clear on like, yo, that's my goal, we are sprinting there, we're laser focused, right? It's very easy to say, okay, yes, I need to do this, and this is probably the next best move, and this is a priority. But when we're unclear and we're unconfident in ourselves, that's another time when we feel like we have to be doing it all, and so our priorities get really scattered, and thus we are not productive, and thus we are overwhelmed. Next tip for you is switching how you set your goals. So I recommend setting some goals, on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis as well. And these don't always have to be like these big goals, just like what is your focus, right? But the problem here, and I have been in this place before as well, is that a lot of times we love to chase after the goals, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna have a 5K month this month. I'm gonna have a 50K month this month, like whatever it is. But the problem with that is it's not all in your control whether you have a 5K month or a 50K month that month, right? People have to say yes, people have to sign up for X, Y, and Z things. And no matter how much you strategize it, all of those actions are not in your control. And so it's a lot better to look at actions as our goals rather than just like these milestones or these benchmarks. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to make $1,000 this week, like, whatever that is, or $10,000 this week, I would say, what are the actions that are in my control that could lead me to the best opportunity of achieving that result, right? So I'm going to start 10 different conversations with ideal clients every single day this week. And that's your main focus instead, is these actions. And so this is stuff that you can incorporate into your to-do list to help you figure out what are those priorities and what you should really be focused on. Because part of productivity is, again, that overwhelm, that lack of clarity, those lack of priorities. So when we get caught up in like, oh my gosh, okay, I've got to make 10K this week, I feel like I need to be doing everything. That's when, because we're focused on the wrong goal, we start to get overwhelmed and thus are unproductive. Tip number 7 is one that I rolled my eyes at as a new entrepreneur, but it's true. It's to rest and recharge. So I think there's like two kinds of people in this realm. Some people need to hear the message that like, hey, entrepreneurship is hard work. No BS, like not gonna lie to you, you are gonna have to put in some work and some hours and grind at some point. It's like the end. But the majority of people need to hear the message that you're working really hard, you're doing all the things, and if you don't take a break and rest, you are gonna just be sitting at your computer so exhausted and tired and thus unproductive, kind of just going through these tasks, but it's gonna feel hard and forced because you're burnt out, you're exhausted, right? But if we just rest, if we just take a little break, take a little pause, you could come back to that same activity and whip it out like that. But it's really scary a lot of times as an entrepreneur to rest and pause. So reframe this, that this is going to help you with your productivity. Okay, 3 last tips for you guys. This one is gonna hit home for a lot of people, and it is to get rid of the perfectionism. Sooner or later, we've got to ditch that. It is not going to allow you to continue to evolve as you need to and as your business needs to. But this is actually very, very closely tied to productivity, because when we are trying to be in that perfectionist mode, when we're trying to overcompensate and make sure that everything is perfect in the exact way that we want it to be, you are taking 10 times as much mental power and probably like literal time creating tasks that they don't need that much extra time. So the sooner that we can get rid of this perfectionist mindset, the more open and spacious and flowy your schedule is going to be, your to-do list is going to be, and thus the more productive you're going to be as well. But think about it this way. If you're making a graphic on Canva, and you are like, no, it's not good enough, it's not right, it's not this, and you spend an extra hour all of a sudden, like editing just these couple little minor details, is that extra hour really worth your valuable 6-7 figure self-time enough to come back to you tenfold to be the thing that was going to get you that next client or that next sale? No, it's not. I believe absolutely in the power of showing up professionally, showing up as next level you, showing up with things like looking great, but there's a fine line there and getting sucked into the perfectionism of these little tasks and it not actually being needle moving actions, and thus why all of a sudden you've spent all day making all these graphics and you're like, I didn't even do the things that I needed to do. Tip number 9 for you guys is to change your energy, change your environment. So this can happen in so many different ways, and it is always in our power. But literally stand up for your desk. If you are feeling unproductive, if you are feeling sluggish, slow, down in your energy, get up from your desk and go do jumping jumping jacks, go do a quick 20-minute yoga session or workout, go just take a lap around the block, or pack up your laptop and go to a new location, environment, the couch or the cafe. But change your environment. Don't just sit there and like digging your heels in further, being like, okay, focus, 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 because that's not really going to help, when in actuality, you could just shift the energy in your environment and all of a sudden we are feeling way more aligned and focused and inspired and ready to tackle the to-do list in front of us. And my last tip for you, the most basic, simple, and most foundational tip to help you be productive is to get organized. And this is systems, processes, just the simplicity of organizing your Google Drive and your files and where things are located and any of that type of stuff. But especially as you scale, get organized, figure out systems, processes. This even goes back to the tip of like creating routine and structure in your day and your meals and your clothes, but also like in your business. Because when you do that, again, we don't have to use so much brain power in trying to reinvent the wheel like every time we're trying to do something. So the more systems and processes that you can create and get organized and streamlined within your business, the more space you're going to have and the more energy you're going to have to really be productive and give all of your energy to the things that you actually need to do to move the needle forward. So let me know in the comments below which one of these 10 tips was your favorite and that you are going to commit to right now. Like literally the action of typing it out below is going to make it more likely that you implement one of these tips. So super excited for you guys to try these. I really hope this helps you get into that productivity mode so that you're able to accomplish all of these amazing things within your business and not stay in that stuck and overwhelmed mode. And if you're looking for more videos, more information about Instagram marketing, sales, entrepreneurship, and living the digital nomad lifestyle, check out some of these other videos here and come back to the channel, and I'll see you guys next week.